All right, so
So
you can
let's have
now.
General Foz
Okay, do we want to
open
have
the
any
meeting.
opening? Okay, Sheldon, you can have some opening remarks.
Okay, thank you very much. Um, Due to unforeseen technical problems, I am forced to make my late remarks. Um, a few little notes that going on. I almost had a tragedy on Wednesday because there was a accident or something with a or something at Westbury, which meant the Huntington, Port Jefferson, and Ronkonkoma schedules would have been disrupted. Luckily, that didn't happen. The schedule was changed and all that. Few notes about uh, transit vending machines. Uh, though the Omni cards from the Transit Authority, they give dollar bills and change. The LIR ticket machines, if you pay for a round trip or ticket, an even amount, they'll give you dollar bills. If you give a split amount, which is what I did this morning, you get gold dollars and a quarter. So
Yeah, I've had that.
that's the update on that. So
It's not
So
new.
about the
I had one years ago.
Sacagaweas.
Yep.
Sacagaweas, yeah, I'll talk about that at another time. All right, Paul, I'll turn it over to you so we can get back to the show.
Thank you, General Foz. Well, first, I want to wish everyone a blessed holiday season of Easter and Passover, your observance coming up. I trust the weather will become accommodating as we get into the week. And, well, tonight is a special occasion. One of the highlights of our membership year with a program by none other than Mitch Dakelman of our legacy railroad, the New York Central, coming out of the collection of Alan Roberts. So Al has either taken these slides personally or they were a part of his collection that fortunately we came into through his widow, none other than Laurie Roberts. So we're very beholden to them and thank them for having come into this invaluable collection that Mitch then painstakingly scanned and brought to life digitally. Now, before I introduce Mitch, coming up the next 2 months, speaking of legacy railroads, next month, another one of those, as I've just mentioned, that category, the CNJ, Central of New Jersey, Central Railroad of New Jersey in all its glory, and its last years of operation will be our program. We'll see the last years of freight and commuter operations from Communipaw to Alpha, including service on the Lehigh Valley to Newark and the Chimney Rock and High Bridge lines. And then in May, the focus will be on none other than the Erie Lackawanna, also in its last years of operation prior to Conrail and NJT in the early 1970s. We'll go along the main line from the west end of Hoboken to the southern tier. We'll see joint operations with the CNJ and the Bangor Portland branch in the Scranton Pocono areas. And finally, we'll close with electric commuter operations, the MUs, from Hoboken to Dover and the Gladstone branch. So please be with us the next 2 months. June is to be determined. That's currently open. And as we say, year after year, month after month, the RE brings you the very best in rail fan entertainment. And tonight is certainly no exception in the guise of Mr. Mitch Dakelman. And now I turn the floor over to take it away, Mitch, with the fine program on the New York Central.
Central, a photographic tour presented by Mitchell Dakelman. Open up with a Bill Lack photo of New York State Express.
Okay. Mitch, I think we'd be better off. Would you, on a different device, would you be able to call into the Zoom meeting? I'll give you the phone number, the meeting ID, and password. Hold on. Do you?
Then it would be louder.
I'll have to open up the email now. Okay. Now, let me go to the archive folder here. Now, I think I sent this yesterday. Wait, I have to look now. You know what? I didn't think anyone would need to look in. So I'm going to have to log in to Zoom and just see what the phone number is. I just didn't expect this at all.
Let me see if I could look it up on my Kindle. Hold on.
Now I'm not, because I didn't send it out. I didn't think anyone would need to call in. So now I'll have to go to just. This is very old. I may be able to find it if I temporarily just leave the meeting. The meeting won't end. I'll just leave, and then I'll have to browse it. And otherwise, that's the only way I can see.
No, I'll look it up.
No, it wasn't in the email. The email was just the link. Oh, well, the meeting ID and password are there, but I don't have the phone number. You'd have the phone number to call.
Right. You have to send them the link.
Yeah, I don't have the phone number, just the meeting ID and the passcode.
Okay, what's the meeting ID?
The meeting ID is 815
Yes.
0885 6808.
815-0885-6088.
No, 6808.
68. And the password?
648673.
You better repeat it.
But that's but
48673.
there's a Zoom phone number for New York. I'll have to I'm not sure to look that up if I'll need to leave and then come back again or
Let
not.
me see if I get that.
You're not, I didn't send it in an email. You're not.
You didn't send it in your email.
As I didn't think. Oh wait, maybe Mike says this is a New York number.
Does anybody else?
No. This isn't Mitch's number. The Zoom number to call is that doesn't. 929. That's Zoom's number for New York. Oh, where'd you see that, Mike? Where'd you see that?
I have a comment. If you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Apparently, Mitch did a run through. He had the same problem or similar problem with the NRHS presentation last month, and now he has done a run through to make sure that he will be able to do it next time. Now, what did he do in that run through that you can do this time?
There was an issue bringing up the screen share.
I'm not there.
It did take 10 minutes before he was able to start the screen share.
Somewhat other numbers dialed by location. I'm not seeing. I'm seeing 43. Is this 43? Wait, 9. It's all 929 436 2866. 2866. That's the phone number.
Yeah.
The password is 648673, and I'll give you the meeting ID. 815-0885-6808. Okay, yes. All right, good. Thanks. Now he's going to try to call in.
Okay, that would be good.
Yeah.
This way
Because
we'll be able
it's
to
going to
hear.
be tedious. It wouldn't work for me to tell me what
No,
to say and
over
I
the
hear it.
phone?
Over the
No,
phone. Yeah.
that
Too
would
bad I
take
don't have
forever.
speakerphone. If I had planned this, maybe.
Yeah,
It
speakerphone.
really
Then we
sounds
could.
like he has something wrong with his PC,
Yes, or the laptop in this case.
Yeah.
you know, his laptop. It really sounds like it
Yes.
has something
But if
wrong.
Well,
he
we did
says,
the run through. It
but if he
was
says that he solved the problem
Well, that's
for
not
the
good.
NRHS, can he do the same thing with this?
Look, that I have no
but
idea.
we don't know.
We
You
don't
can-
know. I'm
Oh,
not
you,
there.
oh, Mitch doesn't know either.
Evidently, evidently.
Let, the numbers are on the chat. What's the big, I don't understand. Why can't he take the number and call in?
He's having the same.
He's doing it now, so.
But how
Let's
did he
see.
solve it?
My
Maybe he
God.
doesn't know.
How hard can it be?
At least
Look, we
I
don't
don't
know.
know. We don't
At
know.
least there's an
I have
alternate
no-
connection.
He's making a connection.
If he were making a connection, I would be seeing somebody come on. The number at this.
I think in a couple of
No.
minutes, I'm going to have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Backup show will be that Erie Lackawanna program I just mentioned. And we'll get something else in May.
Who is user? Is that him?
We don't know.
Oh, we don't know.
Anonymous.
Anonymous.
The absolute cutoff will be 8 o'clock.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
If this program isn't going by 8, we'll go to the back.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Mitch.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes.
do, Mitch.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, can we start?
Yes.
Yes.
We can start. Very good.
Okay,
Thanks, Mitch.
here we go.
All right.
All right, so that worked. That worked. Okay, so I have to take the earphone out because I'm hearing. Okay, here we are. New York
Okay.
Central, a photographic tour presented by Mitch Dakelman. So anyway, the slides in the show did come from some of the Al Roberts collection, but also the NRHS collection and some of the stuff in my collection. So it's a combination. Anyway, we begin with this Ed Nowak. Ed Nowak was a photographer. He did a lot of work for New York Central. And to tell you a story about these slides, they were offered in the mid-'80s, 1984, and it was a collaboration between Richard Wallen, Al Chayone, and Ed Nowak, okay? And Ed Nowak rented the 4x5 transparencies to Al Chayone and Richard Wallen. And they, in turn, made 35-millimeter slides. There were over 500 in this collection. There was a brochure that went with it. They cost $1 a piece back in 1984, which was a high price. So to buy all 500 would have cost you $500. So I bought what I could afford. And over the years, other slides have come through the NRHS collection, and Al Roberts had bought a lot of them. Eventually, Bob Yancey bought the originals from Ed Nowak and published 3 books. And he became very, very protective of those originals. So if you had one of these duplicate slides, he would play them out. Well, what are you going to do? Anyway, that's the origin of these slides. They were made up back in the 80s with a cooperation between Ed Nowak, Richard Wallen, and Al Chayone. And Wallen and Chayone were slide sellers. So here we are in 1939, New York State Express, actually a posed photo, as you can see. The New York Central system was a very large system. It served New England, New York State, and it went out into to St. Louis, and it went up to Michigan. You can see here the map in red. It was a very, very complex network of railroads. All right. I think it was like 25,000 miles in 1922, as you can see. In the east, the main station was the Grand Central Terminal. They had other major stations throughout their system, you'll see. The current station opened in 1913. Architects Reed, Stern, Warren, and Wetmore. Beaux Arts style architecture emphasizing fine arts. It comprises 46 acres of property, 44 tracks and 2 levels. It is a national landmark. They have a website, and the current railroad operator is Metro North and New York Transit Authority. And it is quite a place. Here we have the waiting room. This is a Don Ball photo, which came from Walter Grosselfinger, who had acquired Don's collection after his passing. Now, this is the waiting room in the 1950s, how crowded it was. The reservation desk in 1945, as you can see, photographed by Ed Nowak. And then downstairs, a Matt Hurston photograph. This is part of the Al Roberts collection. Al had a lot of slides from Matt Hurston, who I understand is in his 90s now. So here we are downstairs with S1 motor. Now, it's not a locomotive, it's a motor. Locomotive is a machine that generates its own power. But electric engines do not. They derive a power source from the outside. In case York Central, it's a third rail. And York Central used what they call the underrunning third rail, where the power is picked up at the bottom of the rail, not the top. Here we are, the red carpet. Michael has a piece of this in the museum, in the library, and this is a pre-touched up photo of a couple loading onto the 20th century, taken in September 1948, when the 1948 set went into service. And you'll see more pictures of the train. An early Pacific locomotive. A lot of their locomotives were built by American Locomotive. Here we are, new at Schenectady in 1903. This is a Class L2C 482, 2897 at Mechanicville, 1938. We have a couple of roster shots here of these big steam engines. You'll see more of them as they go through. Here we are, a brand new EMD E7 at Croton Harmon in 1947, an Ed Nowak photograph. Obviously, it's a posed photograph, and all of Nowak's pictures were posed. They had to stop trains on the right of way to get pictures, so they were very, very tight on time. A poster of the Empire State Express. I don't know where, it probably went from New York to Buffalo. And Al Roberts had made some copy slides of maps, and I have a few of them that I scanned. And these pictures came from Mike. He gave me some boxes of slides that came from Al Roberts. So the New York Central Electric Division ran from, obviously, Grand Central Terminal at Mott Haven. It split. One branch went to North White Plains Station on the Harlan Division. The other end went up the Hudson Division to Croton Harmon, 33.9 miles. So trains continuing from Croton to Harmon and White Plains had to change to a steam locomotive, later to a diesel locomotive. As you know, Metro North extended the electrification on the Harlem line up towards, I think, Dover Plains or Booster, I think. Here we have a T1 Electric. These were built in the teens for the railroad. They had the S1s. The T1s were a more powerful motor to haul trains like the 20th Century Limited. And here we have a circa 1959 Al Holtz photograph. Al Holtz was a prolific photographer from North Jersey, and he had loaned his collection to Morning Sun, and a lot of them did go to NRHS. So this is one of the Al Holtz photos that went to NRHS. I bought some too. Here we have a George Cramble's photograph of a train at 125th Street. George Cramble's was in charge of the Chicago Transit Authority. He was a very nice man. The slides he had were not necessarily taken by him, but slides he had collected from others. So this may not be an actual George Cramble's photo. And I met George Cramble's. He took me around Chicago many, many years ago, showed me the CTA. I think around 1993. The P2s were ex-Cleveland Unit Terminal engines that ran off overhead wire. These were built in the 1920s by General Electric. And eventually they went to the electrified zone out of New York City. Here we have a P2 crossing the Harlem River in Penn Central era. Gerald Landau was from New York and took a lot of pictures, duplicated. He was a slide dealer. So we have a lot of pictures from Jerry Landau. Took a lot of subway photos. And Bob Yancey of Morning Sun gave a lot of these to the NRHS. From Steve Benkovitz, he was a teacher from Smithport, Long Island. Here we have a train in Penn Central era of an ex-New Haven EP5 coming over the Harlem River Bridge. This might be heading east, up towards New Haven. I don't know how you access this part of the railroad, but I see a lot of pictures taken on this side of the bridge. Okay. Looking down from the New York side, we're looking down towards Yankee Stadium, and we have a northbound train, the Empire State Express, with a P2B motor in 1966. And this came out of Al's collection with an unknown photographer. These are really great pictures. You know, I really enjoyed putting the show together. It took me a long time. I actually added some more slides earlier tonight before we went on the show here. So here we have a view of the Harlem River and the train heading north. Of course, this is used by Metro North today. At Mott Haven Junction, is where the Harlem Division and the Hudson Division divided. Also at Mott Haven was at the coach yard. And I Googled what is at Mott Haven now. It's now athletic fields, like football fields. So there were buildings over the yard eventually, but now it's all recreational fields. But the tracks that head up towards Harlem, the Harlem line and the Hudson are still there. So part of it's still there, but the yard, the middle of it is gone. That's where they put together the passenger trains for the railroad. And they had to haul them back to Grand Central and then out towards destination. So everything was serviced at Mott Haven in the height of New York Central's passenger service. Here we have going through Mott Haven, a local MU set at the convergence of the Harlem and Hudson lines, Bay 62, and this is from the R.R. Wallen collection. So Dick Wallen bought and sold slides. He duplicated slides and had a big business at one time selling slides. He was very, very good to deal with, and we liked him a lot. Coming in at Mott Haven, this train is heading up. I don't know what this is heading up on the. I think this is going up on the Hudson line. It should be a P2B, not Y2B. And then near Mott Haven was the Bronx Oak Point Yard, which was served by New Haven. It was a New Haven yard, I believe. So it was served by New Haven and New York Central here, and they had reefers that went down there for the produce market. And as you can see, next to the RS3 is a New Haven Tower, and of course I-95, aka the New England Thruway. But the New Haven, it's actually, I think it's the New York Connecting Railroad at this point. Now we're taking a trip up to Yorktown Heights. They had a commuter line from Yorktown Heights down to the Bronx. It was abandoned many, many years ago. It's now a hiking trail. This series of slides were taken by a gentleman by the name of Fielding Lou Bowman. And Mr. Bowman was an architect who lived up in New Canaan, Connecticut. A number of years ago, we received a letter from the Bowman family that they wanted to donate this negative to the National Roman Historical Society. It took about a year. And I got a phone call from the Bowman family for me to drive up to New Canaan, where I picked up several boxes of negatives. I'm still going through them. But he took a lot of photos of the Putnam Division with their 1900 era 460 steamers. This was taken in 1951. A color shot from a NOAC of a freight train. And look at the big girder, a bridge girder, probably for a parkway that would be used to cross over the railroad, or perhaps the railroad crossing over a parkway. But, it was a branch line going up into Westchester County, Putnam County. Now, going south, we have here Briarcliff Manor in 1957, taking the rear of a train. Very, very rustic line. You have a semaphore signal there. Note the phone booth by the station. I think Briarcliff Manor is now a library. Coming down through Mount Hope, we have the water tower and the steam train coming in. I see an individual standing between the two tracks. But these are negative, black and white negatives. And I keep finding more and more of these. Here we have a 460 in February 1941 passing through Mount Hope. So Mr. Bowman's pictures go back many, many years. He has a lot of Third Avenue railways and the dismantlement of the Westchester-Boston line. But, we're going through these slides pretty fast, and you would need quite a bit of time to study these pictures. And then again, in Eastview, a private varnish strip. He was very, very good about taking stations. Mr. Bowman was an architect, so he had interest in architecture. So a lot of his photos have buildings and infrastructure. And then again, at another water tower, Dunwood, with the train coming in, you have the station on the right, a pedestrian overpass there. We need to go back up there and see what how it's a hiking trail now, I believe. Here we are down near the Bronx, going down under the Washington Bridge. And I think you had to connect with the Harlem line to go into New York City. Of course, these are steam-powered trains heading all the way. You can see here the tracks of the Harlem branch with the third rail right in front of you. So he's coming in, and the passengers will have to change trains. The line was eventually taken over with RS3s, and I think it went out in the early 60s. Going over to the Harlem line, again, another Fielding Lou Bowman picture. We are going through Valhalla near the cemetery. And, his photos are really, really spectacular. Most of his photos are black and white, but he did leave us a box of color slides. But the black and whites are just incredible. Chappaqua, April 1970, now with RDCs. Bill Brennan, another slide in Al Roberts' collection. And now we have a train with a RS3, the conventional heavyweight coaches, going through Valhalla. This is all electrified now. And then coming down to Woodland Junction, the convergence of the New Haven branch and the Harlem coming in. an S1 motor, S2 motor. Going up on the Hudson line, a photographic location with Spite and Dival, going to the cut. We have various pictures taken here, also from the Broadway Bridge, where there was a station at one time. And from the cut, from top of the rocks, a commuter train passing through the S-curve. And then on the railroad west side, a commuter train coming through the cut. Probably taken from the station platform. And taken from the ground level, the river is just right to your right. S1 commuter train, probably going up to maybe to Poughkeepsie. They'll change engines at Croton Harmon. This is an Al Holtz picture, and it says a special, so it could be a fan trip for all we know. The freights are coming through. He's heading New York bound. He could be going to the 71st Street Yard for all we know, or maybe the Bronx Terminal. I don't know. But this is an Alan Roberts photograph. And of course, you all know about the derailment in 2013 that claimed the lives of several passengers. And it claimed that the engineer was tired and he was going too fast through the curve. This slide came off the internet. This is a view of the swing bridge that took you down the West Side line into New York City. This picture I just added to the show right before we went on. Taken in the mid-1950s, I would say. And this is route of the Amtrak service that goes up the Empire service, they call it, out of Penn Station. And then a little further up, we have this little sign here, the Humble Washington Irving. I don't know the exact station. It might be Riverdale, on the curve and the cliffs there. But this slide is circa 1955. And again, you see the line with the third rail. We're not yet up to Croton Harmon. So anyway, I'm jumping up to Croton Harmon, where it was a very, very large roundhouse to serve the steam engines. And we're going to see a number of pictures of this roundhouse as we go along here. From Al Roberts, he copied this black and white photo into a slide taken April 17, 1938. And here you see from Fielding Lou Bowman in 1948, the roundhouse is very, very active here. This is where they serviced the Hudsons, the Niagaras, anything coming down towards New York City. This is where as far as the steam engines went, unless they were going to a yard. Well, no, but I think they had to be electrified down into Manhattan. So this is as far as they went. Inside the roundhouse, the J3 being serviced in 1953. You can see how labor intensive with the workmen there around the engine. And then in August, same place, same photographer, it's all gone. Later that summer, in September, they had a photo display of historical equipment. Some were not historical. The E8 at left is relatively new. The RS3 is relatively new. But then you have the J3 Hudson, the 999. To your right is a replica of DeWitt Clinton with a number of engineers saluting from their respective locomotives. And the setup here, 3 diesels in the late 61. Now, the 4053 or 4083 or 4053 was one of several E8s that were painted jade green. The URH has 4083, not 4053, unless the number is incorrectly wrong, 4083. But the 4083 still exists and is seen at the URHS yard in Booton. Now, here we are at the diesel facility, electric facility and diesel facility at Croton Harmon. We have here an array of RDCs. They're called the Beeliners from Ken Kulik. Another collection that came into the NRHS. Ken is still very much alive. He's a member of the New York chapter, and he donated his slides to the NRHS about a year ago. And I'm still going through them. But here we have from the road bridge of a number of RDCs here. I know it's a fuzzy picture, but Croton Harmon was the place where the locomotives were changed. You can see here that the train is heading towards Grand Central, so the electric has come on, the diesel has come off, it'll back up and go into the engine facility for servicing. At the time, Croton Harmon was a low platform station facility. Now it's all high level. A mail train coming through at Croton Harmon. He's probably going to go downtown to the High Line with his RS3. And then leaving Croton Harmon, heading railroad west up towards Buffalo. We have a Mohawk with a freight. 1949, one of the NOX slides that was acquired by Al. Al bought a lot of them. It's great to have them, and you'll see them as we go along this show. This is a picture from Frank Etzel. Frank was a member of the Jersey Central chapter. He was a good friend. I knew him for many, many years. He worked for Bell Labs. Took a lot of photos. He retired North Carolina, passed away about a year and a half ago, and then we got a call from the son, hey, you want my dad's slides? And they were delivered to us in Phillipsburg last summer. So this slide I just recently found. It's a turbo train going through the western end of Croton Harmon. It was a freight yard there. But here's when they rebuilt turbos, and they didn't last very long. They're all, I think, just stored down in North Brunswick. And then heading up towards Roa-Hook. The Hudson Line is probably one of the prettiest railroads you can see in the country. We can see along this line here. Inbound train going to Croton Harmon. Now, I did read that these could go into Grand Central Station, but what they would do, they would put them on the back of a train, and I guess they would shut the motors off and have them go into the station. At Manitou, you had the Bear Mountain Bridge. We're doing the east side of the river. We'll see the west side very soon. But going up under Bear Mountain Bridge, we'll see more photos of the Bear Mountain Bridge. We're passing through small towns to Poughkeepsie, and this is what you see along here. And you can access this location by going to a grade crossing at Manitou, just walking down the right-of-way. And here we are again in S1 Niagara. Sad story. They had 27 of these built by Alco, and they cost almost $250,000 a piece. And they were serviced in Croton Harmon. They had 27 of these things. They only ran a few years. By 1953, they were gone. They only ran for 8 years, and they got $15,000 a piece for scrap, and it cost them $250,000 a piece. So that's a sad story. At Peekskill, A4A2, in 1949. Another Ed Nowak photograph. And he's probably posed because the steam is going vertical. not slanted as if he was heading as he was moving. He's probably stopped there. And it would stop momentarily for the shot. They would have to get going. But he's moving. Bill Price, who was from Cumberland, Maryland, and he did a lot of photography in Western Maryland and being Steam. He did get out east several times to photograph Jersey Central, Pennsylvania Railroad, New York Central. But here we have August 8, 1946, more than 80 years ago. Now, a lot of these duplicate slides do need some sort of color correction. Some tend to be too blue, underexposed, overexposed. But very luckily with photo technology, we can fix these pictures somewhat. And then we have a Mohawk going through Manitou. These are built by Lima in 1943. So this engine is about a year old. Obviously a setup shot at Garrison of 3100 with a pacemaker. It was a post-World War II fast freight train. Obviously, you can see here all brand new box cars, freshly painted, brand new locomotive. And they did quite a few of these photo shoots along the railroad. You'll see more of these. Garrison. At the time this picture was taken, they were filming Hello, Dolly. So the station became Yonkers, not Garrison. It was relabeled Yonkers. So this was taken during the time of filming Hello, Dolly. You see on the right some trucks and cars in the street and some equipment for the movie. And they brought in a Strasbourg engine and some Strasbourg passenger cars for the Hello, Dolly movie sequence they filmed here. Oscawana, going north, June 1946, with the J3 Hudson, heavyweights. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me where the train is going. With heavyweights, he could be going to Albany, most likely. Here we have a beeliner, Peekskill. Again, a Fielding Lou Bowman photo. Mr. Bowman was from New Canaan, Connecticut, as I said. And here we have a single car. It could be a test run of this car going up the east side of the river. And at Beacon, Ops car, the Upstate Special. That a number of observation cars. Now, if you've read, Via Canada is going to order a new train set for their Canadian, but they said they cannot build a rounded end observation car. It's just too expensive to do it. I don't know why they can't do it. They did it back then. And at Hudson, New York, we're almost at Albany. The Hudson. Al Roberts collection and Nowak photo. You still with me, guys? You still with me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, loud and clear.
All right. Okay. Albany. Streamlined Hudson were being showcased. Date is December 7th, 1941, which was the day that they bombed Pearl Harbor. This is a black and white copy slide in Al's collection. And this slide is incorrectly located. Okay, it should be. This is west of Schenectady. Hoffman's is west of Schenectady, and I have shots of Albany to show you. But Hoffman's is where the line came in from Selkirk. The West Shore had a connection from the one side of the Mohawk River, and where all main line freights came into the east-west main line. And this photo is repeated again later. It's a setup shot, obviously, with a steam engine and a brand new Alco PA. All right, now let's take a look at the West Shore. Opposite New York City, Weehawken, you had a sprawling yard, a freight yard. It's amazing. This is all gone, gentrified by housing, condos. We'll have more pictures here. You can see the lower left-hand corner, Pershing Avenue. To the right was the right-of-way for public service streetcars that went down to Weehawken. Picture coming down by way of Pershing Drive. And to the left, you'll see the right-of-way and tracks for the public service that went down to Weehawken. You can see the ferry, the passenger ferries. Big operation here. You see the steam engines to the left. Also, New York and Train Western went out of here. And a line came up with the Lackawanna and Jersey Central that made a connection at Weehawken. This is the way it looked in year 2000. The ferry service by New York Central was discontinued in 1959, but there is a service there now. It is a passenger-only service. New York Waterways. Now look at the difference. This is the New York Central's Weehawken side ferry terminal. And ferry service ended in 1959. We have here the Marine Fleet, various tugboats, the locomotive facility here, already into Penn Central. And now we're going to take a trip up the West Shore. They did have commuter service. This picture taken by Walter Zilling Jr. with his permission in 1958. And a West Shore a diesel-powered freight taken by Al Holtz in 1957. This needed color correcting. The Ansco slides don't hold up very well, but it's a nice shot of FAs. Further up is West Haverstraw, commuter train on April 10th, 1954, Dave Sweetland. I believe he was from New England. He worked for, I think, Pennsylvania Railroad, Penn Central, and Conrail. I knew Dave. And he did a lot of books for Morning Sun. Here we have CSX Transportation, a contemporary view at Iona Island. Even though it was taken 26 years ago, Carl Perlman, who's still very much with us and active, taking train pictures. And then at Popoluppin, I had to look this up, Popoluppin Creek, heading up towards West Point. The Catskill branch. I found these in Al's collection. An RS-11, switching a freight train here at Grand Hotel. And Grand Hotel was on the Catskill branch. I did research that. I had some slides of a brochure for some trips they did up there. Selkirk was a large yard there. The tracks came in from Boston, on the Boston-Albany, and then you had your West Shore line coming in, and a connection from the east side of the railroad that went up to the Alfred Perlman Bridge. Albany Station, built 1900. It's taken September 3rd, 1967, by a member of the NRHS during the convention of 67. And then the interior of the waiting room by Al Roberts. Eventually, they went to Rensselaer. Here's a shot of a train at the station. You see the tender of a steam engine, but a Matt Hurston photo taken in 1954. Here's that Hoffman shot again. I'm sorry. So Western Schenectady is where the West Shore line joined the main east-west line that went over towards Buffalo. At Fonda was the connection with the Fonda, Johnstown, and Gloversville. It was at one time an electric interurban, eventually a motor car, and then eventually just a freight service line. And he set up shop by Ed Nowak of the Empire State Express, going through Newark, New York. Not Newark, New Jersey, Newark, New York in 1947. And then another shot at Little Falls. Now, at Little Falls, they straightened a curve. It was a sharp curve, and they had a very, very bad derailment. And in the repair, they decided to make that curve gradual. As you can see here, it's all brand new right away, all new fill. The old railroad is to the left. Depew, getting towards Syracuse, on a very cold February 1947 day. Again, I think he's stopped because the steam is going up, not lengthwise to the train. Another photo set up at Churchville with a reefer train, an ice reefer train with F7s, and it looks like a mail train with a steam engine. On a 4-track line, this is now all 2 tracks. And look at the signal bridge with the semaphore signals. Buffalo Central Terminal. Another majestic station on the Central. In 1945, it served the Pennsylvania Railroad, New York Central. One other line came in here. A publicity shot in the early 50s. Of course, what killed the long-distance passenger service is when they built the New York State Thruway a few years later. Another shot, 87s, on a chilly March 51 day. And then another cold day, June 46. Look at the snow there. Heading west, Nelson Bowers photograph. Nelson worked for the Pennsy, later Conrail. Had a very, very large slide collection. We're passing WZ Tower, Train 89, June of 1950. Look at the wooden crosswalk over the tracks, the telltales, the tower, all great photography. A Erie-built FM at Buffalo with the pacemaker train. And then at Erie, we're getting towards the, we're in Pennsylvania now. We go into Pennsylvania for a short distance, then we go to Ohio. So the very top of the Great Lakes, there's a short piece of railroad that goes through Pennsylvania. So Erie is a major city. And you can see here, by 1968, how decrepit the locomotives were getting. Of course, by the late 60s, they were getting newer power, like the GP40s, GP35s, the Alco Century. So, but the F7s actually lasted to Conrail. Cleveland Union Station was once an electrified railroad. They had to run electrified trains to Cleveland. And then eventually when the EUs came in, the P2 motors were rebuilt and transferred over to the Hudson and Harlem lines. But here you have a new E7 coming through. And Explorer was a lightweight train to service cities in Ohio,
On Amtrak.
Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati. It was short-lived. Collingwood Yard in Cleveland. Here we have a photograph of various steam engines at the What are we doing there? All those steam engines. That's right, Bill. All those engines.
The hell is all that?
All at the terminal there.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm going to continue. I found this slide in Al's collection. At Berea, Ohio. Can we get those yellow lines out of the way? They're not part of my slide presentation.
Stop sharing and reshare.
All right, we'll leave them there. I can't do anything about it. Berea, the station is still there. It's a museum. Why are these yellow lines here? All right, Sharonville. We're down in Cincinnati. We are at the southwest part of Ohio. We have Baldwin Sharks that operated. And this is a Carl Henkel's photo. That was an Al Roberts collection. And the experimental Black Beetle jet train. They took an RDC and dressed it up with these jet engines, the streamlined freight, and they tested to see how far this thing could run. I think it ran 183 miles. Butler, Indiana. Indianapolis Station, an Al Roberts photograph in 1970. And an Elkhart in 1922 from Howard Borath.
Hi, Mitch.
A 442 steam engine.
Mitch, please stop sharing. Please stop sharing the screen. You need to reshare. That will get rid of the drawing on the screen. You have to stop sharing and share again. And then could you go back a few images to
I'll go back,
where the drawing happened?
All right.
Okay, we're back.
Let me go back. It won't let me go back. It's stuck.
Try the left arrow
Share?
key on your keyboard. Try the left arrow key.
Huh? I am hitting it. Nothing is happening.
Then hit escape and look in the thumbnails of the slides. So get out of full screen and
okay.
Look at your PowerPoint.
I have to go back to share.
Mm-hmm. The Cray is like a monster for this guy. Keep it simple.
Then in the left there, scroll up and
Yes, that's right.
Go,
I see.
go to the earlier slide.
I'm left, by 104, slide 104. Is that the one you were up to?
No,
just go back a few slides.
Okay. Then you can just hit if you want to go back, you
It's
get that
okay.
top arrow.
Leave it.
There, I think
Go
it
to
started at
presentation
the
mode,
floor.
Mitch. Come
Just
on.
look. Just go back where you left
Click.
off.
This is where. Okay.
Oh,
That's the slide we will look at. Okay.
Yeah, go to presentation mode back.
Okay, please.
And then select from current slide. Okay, it's the button second from the left. Yes.
Yes, from current slide, yes.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right. So here we have the Berea station and the Sharks at Cincinnati. You know, as I said, the railroad really had a lot of geography to it. And the experimental high-speed train that they ran out of Butler on July 23rd. They made a film of this also. It was a movie that they did called Jet Train. And the Union Station at Indianapolis. This is before Amtrak, so they were still running some passenger service through here. Elkhart, Indiana. They have a large yard there, operated by Norfolk Southern today. In Elko, Schenectady. Well, they have a big museum. The New York Central Museum is also there in Elkhart. We're seeing they have a steam engine. They have a GG1. The steam engine is slated for restoration. And RS-11s at Elkhart, Indiana. They were an oddity, the RS-11s, built by Alco. And a number of railroads have them. D&H had them, Lehigh Valley. You know, any railroad that served Schenectady, like Lehigh Valley, purchased engines from Alco. Pennsylvania had these, Lehigh Valley. I think New Haven had it. There was some chopped nose versions as well. Notre Dame special. A special train going to Notre Dame. It looks like a what railroad was that? With that red sash. Oh, I can't think the name of it. It ran out Midwest. Darn it. I can't think of the name of it.
The Monon.
Monon. That's it. Monon. Yes. And we made it to Chicago. They used Dearborn Station. And we have here the streamlined 1938 version of the 20th century. Now we're going to look at some 20th century pictures. The interior of the observation car of the 1938 train. And this is the Mercury. Mercury service served Midwest cities like Detroit, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. And the Mercury trains operated through the 1950s. I learned all this stuff during the slideshow. Believe me, I learned a lot. Now let's talk about the century. So in 1948, they re-equipped the train. They had great faith after World War II that people would still ride trains. So they built a whole new consist for the 20th century. And it had a lot of features that this train had. Okay. We have here the dining car. Now, these photos were taken at Mott Haven, where the train was usually stored between runs of the New York End. And Ed Nowak was from New York, and he would come out and do these setup shots. Here you see the tableware all nicely arranged. The red and gold motif that we see in the carpeting of the 20th century. We have here a bunch of pictures with models. This is not the head steward. He's the secretary. He's the secretary of the train. But look at that modern phone he's got there. Here's the secretary again, posed with the conductor with a dictaphone recorder. And then a group of people having fun at one of the dining cars. These were eventually published in a 3-book set by Morning Sun of the photography of Ed Nowak. And the books are still available. You get them online. They're not that expensive. If you bought the whole set, Bob Yancey offered a slipcover for that set. And I did get that from Mr. Yancey. But, I mean, this is a picture. Obviously, they're all models in the dining car. Set of people enjoying lunch. Look at that silverware. And how people dressed up. The barbershop. And the ops car, Hickory Creek. Now, a number of years ago, the United Railway Historical Society obtained the Hickory Creek from the Ringling Brothers of Barnum Billy Circus. To do that, they traded the circus two coaches, which were inherited from New Jersey Transit, and they got Biscuit Creek. And when that car came to Ringo's, it was a real basket case. And remember, equipment such as this was never meant to last forever. It had a shelf life, and then you replace it. So when they got the car from the circus, it had been modified tremendously. So the restoration took place in a number of places. It started at Ringo's with the Hoboken back in the 90s. It was done by Star Trek. Fred Heidi worked on it. Now they're looking at the interior. And so Walter Glossafinger reached out to Bob Yancey, who owned the original transparencies. And Bob loaned Walter some of the transparencies, of which they were used to model how the car would look today, including that aluminum railing that you see. The car is going to be going up to the Finger Lakes Railroad, operate up there in a few weeks. But it's really great if you haven't ridden it, believe me. And a postal car.
Mm.
And of course, pretty models.
Mm.
The Tavern Lounge car, the Pacemaker.
Yeah.
The NRHS has two of these, but they operate.
Yeah.
And a Chicago class, F class 460, Alco Schenectady. Chicago Railroad Fair hosted a lot of locomotives of historical merit. And they had a show called Railroads on Parade, which was an updated version from the 1939 World's Fair. Had the same story, actors, different locomotives, but rather than having steam finishing the program, what I was told when I ran the movie, that as EMD built these brand new diesels, it would be sent down to Chicago to put in the final scene of the show. So you could have a Santa Fe engine 1 week, or a Santa Pacific engine 1 week, Rock Island engine 1 week. But the Empire 999 is part of the early part of the show. The 119 is one of the engines from the completion of the Transcon. Chicago Fast Freight with Alco FAs, Richard Wallen, and the Michigan Central line from Chicago up to Detroit, which is now basically an Amtrak line. I think CSX runs the freight service up there. Emery Goulash was from Detroit, and all his photos went to Morning Sun. Here we are into Detroit proper with the new interstate going over. We're into Penn Central with the New York Central F3, F7, and a Penn Z GP9. Elmer Kremko was a big photographer and collector of photographs from Detroit, and his collection was bequeathed to the Blue Water chapter of the NRHS. When they folded, they went to the NRHS. So I have thousands of photos from this Elmer Kremko guy. This is Marion, Ohio. Marion, Ohio. You had New York Central, Erie, Lackawanna, Norfolk and Western, all passing through here. Nickel Plate. Had two sets of diamonds. Very popular location for railroad boat photographers. This is a picture from that fella, Elmer Kremko. Detroit, Michigan had a big station there. It was never finished. And for many, many years, it just went into disrepair. And it was slated to be torn down, but the Ford family took interest. And they have just finished a restoration of this building. And I saw a program, what they had to do to get this building back into the top shape. But here you see the train shed here. And it looks like the third rail. The third rail is for the train going into Canada, which was an electric train that went under the Huron Tunnel, I believe. And now we're at St. Louis, early Penn Central. We now have mixing up of York Central and Pennsy locomotives. And now we're going to go to Boston for the Boston Albany division of the Central here, running steam engines, the J3. Some of their engines were actually led at Boston and Albany. On RS1, switching in the yard there. This is John Jepko. Jepko, another photographer of the 50s, did a lot of photography of the Pennsylvania, New Haven, New York Central. He had a lot of pictures. Coming through South Station, light engine move, photo from Ken Kulik. You would never recognize this location. It's all under cover with catenary for electric Amtrak service and also MBTA. Riverside, Massachusetts is a community near Boston. I believe this property here was taken for the New York State Thruway. The railroad was double. They took 2 tracks away from the railroad. They did 2 tracks. And I think MBTA does a commuter train on this line. We have here Hollingsburg, Dick Block. He was from Pittsburgh. Did a lot of photography. Took a lot of pictures of railroad equipment. It was a modeler. You can see here a weather-worn boxcar, probably going to be scrapped. Here is the NRHS 4083, as I said earlier. And I took this picture at a night photo session. A lineup of ops cars in Chicago. And what I understand, what Michael Vecchio told me, he knew at NOAC, that the railroad was really not happy that so much time was taken up to get this picture. They want to get these trains out of there. So they had some time to set these up. And the directors, we all hope you had a great trip. Mr. Perlman and his crew at the Central. That's it. Oh, I made it. We're done. You still there?
Okay. Yes.
Hello?
Very good. Hello? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, good. Yes.
Mitch, that was a great program.
Great
Great
show.
show.
Yes.
Loved it.
Yeah, well
Enjoyed it
worth
very
waiting
much.
for.
Oh,
Yes, it
yeah.
was
Once
worth
it got
it.
going, it was
I
outstanding.
have more for a second picture. I have to thank Mike very, very much for the
Yes.
slides.
Thank you, Mike.
He's got more. He has more to give me, and we will do another.
Great.
Right now, I have to work on 2 more shows. I have to work on an Erie Lackawanna show for the Erie Lackawanna Society and a Pittsburgh show for a group in Pittsburgh. So my digitization does not stop. I'm always every night working on it. But I think tonight I'm going to take off and go home and make some supper and call it a night.
Take a break.
Yes, take a break.
Yeah, it's almost
Once
9
again,
o'clock.
thank
So-
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So have a great Passover, guys.
Thank
and,
you.
we'll be in
Great seeing
touch.
you too. Yes.
Thank you. You
Yeah,
too.
I'm glad we got this in. So
Yes. We
So am I.
persevere.
yeah,
Thanks,
I have to go to
everybody.
the bathroom.
Okay.
Good night.
Take
Good
care,
night. Good
Mitch.
night.
You can.
We'll
you
be
can-
in touch
right.
for
you
that
got
second
screen sharing
show.
and they just
Thank you. Very good. Great.
Okay.
Take care. Bye bye.
Okay,
We'll do.
okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye. End the slideshow. Okay, so I could just, you know what? I could just kill that.
Well, I'm glad that we got Mitch on. to do the narration, because it wouldn't have been the same without narration.
Right.
He didn't stop screen sharing, so we're still seeing that photo.
Oh, well, he had it. He was
I guess
indisposed.
he had. Yeah, he's indisposed. He had to leave quickly.
Did you recognize that last photograph in the New York Central boardroom? That was used. That was used in The Godfather.
Oh, I didn't know that.
When they
didn't
had the
know
meeting
that.
of the five families.
Amazing.
Oh, there.
The
Okay.
next time you watch The Godfather, and there's the meeting of all the families, that was shot in the same room. The picture of the New York State Express is in the background.
Oh, I never knew that. It's amazing.
Is that in Grand Central's terminal? That room?
No, it's in the what's now the Helmsley building.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's the board.
That was a good choice.
The building's still there. If you look down Park Avenue, from 90th Street, you see that building. That was the New York
right.
building, and their board room was in that building. It's still there.
Oh.
And I did some research, and because when I watched The Godfather, I said, "What's the New York State Express doing in the background?" and then I did some research. They actually filmed it in the New York Central boardroom.
Wow.
In 1971 or 2.
Oh, that was a very fitting venue.
Sure was.
After all, it was a board meeting.
Yeah,
a different board.
That must have been filmed probably around 1971, early 72 when The Godfather 1 came out.
So that what you can do is go to YouTube and bring up that scene. It's the exact same room.
Oh, wow.
With the New York State Express in the background.
Thanks for that information. I'm going to check that out.
Well,
I want to thank everybody. Yes, who assisted in getting Mitch on.
That was great.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
We all work together.
Yes. The layout on Zoom keeps changing. I know it's definitely host tool doesn't give the same thing, and then there are more controls on the top than I was used to.
It's constantly being updated.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, that's quite frequent with tech.
How is the average person supposed to keep up?
It's difficult.
Well, trial and error. You test and you see, you get the feel of it.
You just muddle along.
Yes.
But in this case, perseverance paid off.
Oh, yes. Yes. Thankfully,
yes.
It sure seems like there's something wrong with Mitch's laptop, though.
That may very well be the case.
Just didn't set it up correctly.
He probably just has to go into the settings.
Yes.
Settings, control panel for all that hardware.
Exactly, yeah.
He has to familiarize himself.
Well, why would it work once and then not again? Something's wrong.
It's hard, unless you're a technician and you get the other person to have the software where somebody gives permission for you to just access their PC, then you could tell what was going on. Otherwise, it's just a guess. You're saying try this, try that, and you're not seeing
trial and error.
What's in front of the user. Then you really can't say.
Yeah, that's
well.
True.
Thank God we found another way.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Wow. I wouldn't have wanted to miss that program.
Every picture was just as impressive as the last, more impressive than the last one.
Yes. It was
very
really
good.
Outstanding.
It's very good.
All right, have a good night, everybody.
Okay, you do the same. Have a good weekend. Eric. Thanks to one and all.
Thanks. Yes.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Have a good time.
I'll turn off
do the same.
Passover.
Yes. Happy Easter and Passover to
Thank
everyone.
You. Happy Passover.
Enjoy.
Hey, Easter.
Thank you.
Have a happy Easter.
And likewise.